All right, so how many of you know somebody by raising your hand that has high blood pressure? Okay, yep. How many of you know someone that has diabetes? Okay. How many of you know someone that has weight challenges, want to lose a little weight? Yeah. How many of you know someone that has cholesterol issues? How many of you know that's you? So this morning we're going to talk about it all and how you put it together. And I have to share with you how I got on this journey. It really came out of pain. Truly came out of pain. 18 years ago, my mom had a massive heart attack. Now, my mom was a size 6'8", no health issues. The day she had her heart attack, we had just finished eating a salad and a turkey burger on wheat bread. That's supposed to be pretty healthy. And 2 hours later, we're at Baylor Grapevine Hospital. And a week later, they have her on 12 medications. And a couple of months later, she gains over 100 pounds. And as we were going for checkups and everything, the doctor, we would say, we need to get off this medication or do something. He said, oh, she's doing great. She's doing great. And we were like, are you looking at what we looking at? And so, but God had a bigger plan. And many times, if you can just live through your pain, it'll get you through your purpose. If you can live through it, survive it. So on one visit, the doctor said, you're doing great. And I asked him specifically, I said, how do we get my mom off of 12 medications? He said, oh, she'll be on medicine the rest of her life. She's had a massive heart attack. And my mom, and this is really full circle, Pastor, because my dad was a pastor. My grandfather was a pastor. And I'm the youngest of 7. And so they would always say, you going to be the one to preach. I'm like, oh, no. So the fact that I am here in your pulpit, I don't know, God will do it. I don't know. I ain't going to leave that alone. I'll leave that alone, Pastor. So anyway, my mom just rejected that information that she was going to be on medication the rest of her life. And when the doctor walked out of the room, she said, get all my records. We're never coming back to Baylor again. And we got on a search to find a doctor, find somebody that could give us information on how to get her off medication, how to get the weight loss off. And so finally we did. And it took about a year to the day of that visit. And within a year, she was off all 12 medications and had lost 100 pounds. Yeah. And so as she was healing and getting better, I'm like, okay, I can go back to my life and do this. But God had another plan, because at the same time, our chiropractor, had said, I need you to come to my office and share what you and your mom learned on this eating healthy thing and how she lost the weight and how she got off the medication. And I said, nah, I ain't trying to do that. Nah, I ain't trying to do that. Well, this is so full circle. So I went in for an adjustment, and I sat down on his table, and he said, Paul, you're going to get this. He said, I want you to read Joshua 1. I said, okay, I'll do that. So he said, so when you come back in a couple of days for your next adjustment, we're going to talk about it, because the Lord told me to tell you to read Joshua 1. I said, okay. So a couple of days later, I show up for my chiropractor. How many of you like chiropractic? How many of you ever tried a chiropractor? Yeah. And so I showed up a couple of days later. You go twice a week. They adjust you. You feel great walking out. So I go in, and he goes, Paul, did you read Joshua 1? I said, no. He said, get out of my office. I said, my neck kind of jacked up, back a little. But this was 18 years ago. I played a lot of basketball, guys. Used to play in a lot of the pro-am leagues in the summers. So I was kind of jacked up, walking a little, He was like, get out of my office. So I was like, are you serious? So I figured, okay, you know what? When I walked out, I told the secretary, I said, just book me next week. She was like, okay. So that Tuesday comes around, and I go back. And he's like, hey, Paul, good to see you today. Great, hey, Dr. Brown, yeah, man, how was your weekend? Great. You read Joshua 1? No. Get out of my office. Yeah. So he's kicked me out of the office twice now, and I'm really not feeling that. So I said, well, I might need to read Joshua 1. Let's see what Joshua 1 has to offer. And it was at that moment I read Joshua 1, and I literally sat on the steps in our home and started writing out a business plan for this business. I wrote for hours and hours and hours, and I had no idea what I was going to do with it. But now here I am, 18 years later. So this morning, I've got some great topics for you that I want to share. How many of you know the definition of insanity? Yeah, it's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you have a phone or a tablet, I want you to write this question down for yourself. Am I insane? Because I'm going to help you answer it as we go through some of this information this morning. So write that question down. Am I insane? Okay? And so there are multiple topics I want to talk to you guys about. And the first one I want to share with you is dairy. How many of you like dairy products? Pizza, macaroni and cheese, queso, ranch dressing, Thousand Island, Cheez-Its, Doritos, string cheese, chicken tetrazzini, creamer in your, where my Starbucks lovers at? Where my Starbucks lovers, you know, you got your cappuccino, your latte, they put all of that. So here's the challenge with dairy. As creamy as it is, as delicious as it tastes, dairy has twice as much cholesterol as any meat. Has twice as much cholesterol as beef, chicken, turkey, pork, fish, if you want to throw fish in there. That's number one. Number two, dairy is the second leading cause of every cancer. Ooh. Thirdly, anybody here that has sinus issues? 1, 2, so keep your hands up. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anybody else? Sinus or allergy issues? Okay. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Asthma, anybody? Oh, okay. All right. So the root cause of all of that is dairy. Now, let me explain to you, because you think your sinuses and your allergies are seasonal. You know, oh, it rains, it's the weather, the grass, the ragweed, or all of that. Has nothing to do with that. Dairy or sinus and allergy issues is an immune system issue. And I'm going to explain it. In 2019, Pastor, we had COVID, right? And it just wrecked everything. And I always say what COVID truly unraveled is how unhealthy we are. When you think about it, because you couldn't breathe air. Everybody's afraid. You ain't want nobody to breathe on you. You're like, you know, you don't want anybody to breathe on you. But the reason why COVID was so damaging is because as a whole, our immune systems are so weak. How many of you have ever been in a room, sitting at a table, someone sneezes, right? And then 20, 30 minutes later, you're like, oh, I caught her germs. I caught her cold. Oh, God. That's because your immune system is down. And so I'm going to walk you back and show you how that happens. Where are all my mothers? Where are all my mothers that have birthed a child? Where are all my mamas? Okay, keep it, raise them high. I want to see. Let's see. Where? There. Okay, mamas. Okay. So you know, at the time that you gave birth in the hospital, there may have been someone there whose baby had to go in an incubator, right? We've seen that. The reason why the baby goes in the incubator is because it can't breathe the regular air yet because its immune system isn't strong enough. So therefore, it has to stay in the incubator for a day, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, or however long it takes for its immune system to get strong enough to breathe air, right? Well, as you get older, from birth to 10 to 15 to 20, your breathing of air becomes compromised. Why? Because of your dairy intake. It has nothing to do with the weather. Did you get that? Because dairy tears down your immune system. That's why those of you that are challenged with asthma, if you have an asthma attack, you know the one thing no one can give you is what? Milk. Because it will close your wind tunnel. And it will kill you immediately. So that's what dairy does to you on a whole, but your body overcompensates so you still can breathe, but you breathe with an issue. Does that make sense? And so one of the things I always share with people, I'm not going to say you can't ever have dairy, but you have to minimize it greatly. Because if you have a child now that consumes a lot of dairy products, their nose is always runny. They're always a little congested, mucousy. They always have a little cold, a little bit of a cold. And so that's all a direct relation to the consumption of dairy. So now you're saying, okay, well, what can I do besides milk, right? How many of you have heard of almond milk? Yep. How many of you have heard of soy milk? How many of you have heard of oat milk, right? How many of you have heard of rice milk? Less hands went up, yeah. So the absolute best choice for a milk substitute would be rice milk. And the reason why is it's dairy-free, lactose-free, and cholesterol-free. And so now, who in here, you're in church, this is Sunday, so you got to tell the truth. Who here is trying to lose a little weight, 5 pounds, 10 pounds? Okay. So if you are a consumer of soy or almond, it's going to be harder to lose weight because soy and almond have fat. So if you're drinking almond milk consistently, soy milk consistently, then you're just not going to get the weight loss that you desire, for the simple fact is that you're putting fat on top of fat on top of fat on top of fat. Does that make sense? So rice milk will be the best choice. And then the new one that came out that you see over-commercialized is oat milk. Anybody here drinking oat milk? Okay, all right. Just 2 people? That's it? Just y'all 2? Are y'all related? Well, I'm going to tell you this about oat milk. I'm just going to tell you this. You obviously have not read the back of oat milk. You haven't read the back of oat milk. So your homework today is when you go home, read the back of oat milk and see if you still want to drink oat milk. Might not want to drink it. Of those 4, oat, soy, rice, and almond, oat milk is the worst. But that's the one that's commercialized to you. So, because we have this, I'm not going to say disease, Pastor Joshua, but we have this thing where we just read the front of the labels. We don't read the back. We just read the front and we run down the street with the front. So I would really encourage you. So the best choice would be rice milk, guys. Now, what do you do for butter? Let's say, how many of you, anybody in here use country crock? I can't believe it's not butter. 1, okay, just one person's being honest, okay. Anybody here use Smart Balance? Margarine. 1, okay, 2, pass the wife, okay, I'm gonna get you delivered today too. Okay, so all of those things, Smart Balance, I can't believe it's not butter, country crock, margarine, all of those are 1 degree away from plastic. That's why they float. You notice when you use it, it just floats on the top. It never goes to the bottom. It just floats. She just got delivered. The best choice, guys, for butter, just go back to real unsalted butter. I don't care the brand. It does not necessarily have to be organic, but just go back to unsalted butter. And you can find it anywhere, and that's just a better choice. And then falling in line with dairy, many times people say, well, what about eggs? How many of you like eggs? How many? Well, everybody love eggs. In my household, eggs, I think David Copperfield comes to my house every week because they just disappear. I swear to God, they just disappear. I mean, it's just like they just fly out the window past. I mean, anyway, that's another. Whew, okay, I ain't gonna focus on eggs in my house. All right, but let me tell you something about eggs. How many of you eat white eggs? Anybody here eat white eggs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, we're gonna work on you getting delivered, Sister Pat, First Lady. We're gonna get you getting delivered. So here's a little secret, y'all. Here's a little secret. Don't tell anybody. You ain't gotta tell them. This is just for you. Eggs come out of chickens brown. So how they get white? They bleach them. And that bleaching seeps through to the egg. So you want to just get to brown. Oh, she getting real delivered in the back. She's just shaking her head. She just like, oh, Lord. She was like, why did I come to church today? I could have been home on Instagram. So you just got to get the brown eggs. Brown, cage-free eggs. I don't care the brand. But these are just simple lifestyle changes. You know, one of the things that I focus on in sharing information, Pastor, is this isn't a diet that I'm going to share with you today. It's not about counting calories. It's a lifestyle. You come to Faith-Filled Church because this is your lifestyle. This is who you are. And one of the things I see day in, day out is our culture dying too young because we're overweight, we eat the worst foods, and here's the click, y'all. It's not even more expensive to eat healthy. When you add up how much Chick-fil-A you buy, oops, they close on Sunday. How much Taco Bell, Whataburger, Cane's, Cane's done got real popular in Dallas lately. So you just have to make certain choices. So let's move to rice milk. And before this is over, I'm going to open it up for questions. So if you got a question, just write it down. If you're going to do butter, do unsalted butter. But now let's go back to dairy overall. How many of you know someone that has cancer? We almost all know. Almost everybody knows somebody who has had it, passed from it, right? Yes? So here is how dairy plays into this whole cancer situation, because it's very prevalent. I mean, it's like the common cold now. It's, you walk down the street, oh, she got cancer. It's gotten so normalized that people don't even get upset when somebody has it anymore. It's just like regular. It's like a cold. Just, oh, I got a cold. Just like people don't get upset when people get COVID no more. Now, oh, you just got COVID. You know what you're really saying? You just got COVID. Anyway. So here's how dairy plays into the whole cancer thing. Dairy, guys, turns into cholesterol. Okay, everybody with me, right? Cholesterol turns into fat. Fat, when not eliminated timely, becomes acidic. Now your cells go from being acidic to malignant. And then you have cancer. Did everybody get that? And the elimination of dairy from your body is critical. So now, I know this is Sunday service, and some of you may not want to participate in this exercise, but I'm going to ask you to participate anyway. How many of you think you are regular? Show me, you think you're regular. Okay, you think you're regular. So we only got 1, 2, 3, only 4 people only think they're, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? About regular? Yeah, okay, yeah, that regular. So let me explain what regular really means. Regular means you're going to do number 2 3 to 5 times a day. Oh. That means you're doing number 2 3 to 5 times a day. That's what regular is. So now, let me ask that question again. How many of you are regular? Okay. And so it's so critical, though, because you have to eliminate that waste. If you don't eliminate the waste, it becomes toxic. And cholesterol coming from dairy creates all of that. Is everybody with me? Okay, this is pretty good so far? Okay, all right, okay. So now, let's talk about what cholesterol does in a woman's body, and let's talk about what it does in the man's body. Ladies, how many of you know someone that has had a hysterectomy or have fibroid issues, a thyroid? Yeah, every woman's hand is going up, right? Well, here's the mystery to that whole issue. Cholesterol is the key hormone for sex in men and women. Put a period right there. Cholesterol is the key hormone for sex in men and women. I want you to put a period there is because I'm going to give you the PG version from the stage. But if you want to know the full transcript, see me afterwards. But for ladies, you know your thyroid is in control of your metabolic growth rate, right? Yes, ladies, y'all with me? When your thyroid is overactive or underactive, hormone imbalance. Yeah. The reason why the young girls are so much more developed now, because the number one food for kids is what? Dairy. It's cheese in everything. It's cheese in your broccoli, it's cheese pizza, it's cheese in everything. And so that triggers your thyroid as a young woman to be overactive. So what it's really doing, Pastor, is it's aging you quicker. That's why they get their cycle so much younger now. How many of you have a niece that got her cycle at a really young age? You know, like they get into like 12 now, and they tend to be a little more developed, and they cramp worse. And then as you mature as a woman, when you are 17, 18, you have really bad cycles. Anybody familiar with that? Yeah, a couple people shaking their head like, yeah. And what's happening is all of that cholesterol turns into fat. And blood cannot pass through fat. That's what causes the cramping. Did you get that? Because blood cannot go through fat, it has to go around it, so it makes it uncomfortable. And then it causes the clotting. See, for ladies, the clotting is just a lot of cholesterol and fat in a ball, and your body's trying to flush it out. That makes sense? Yeah. And so all of that is attributed to dairy. Dairy, dairy, dairy. So I know you're like, oh, Lord, Jesus, please get better, please get better. Look at your neighbor and say, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. It's going to get better, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. Okay, so I'll just challenge you to be more conscious of your dairy intake. Second topic I want to give you really quick, and this is more so, now I asked you guys a question, right? Are you insane? Right? You wrote that question down. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. So if you're trying to get healthier, after today, you can't go back and do what you did yesterday, because that means you are what? Insane. Okay, so now, I'll give you a couple of little scriptures that I love to just, Genesis 1, 29, and 30. And, you know, it's a little wordy, but in simple translation, Pastor, it talks about God gave us every tree for fruit, every seed. But people don't read the end of that. It says every seed for meat. Read that. And God so, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree which is in the fruit of the tree yielding seed to you, it shall be for meat. Think about that for a second. Your meat should come from the earth, not an animal. I just lost the whole church. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a vegetarian, but that's the way we were created. We were never designed for meat or dairy. Your body fixes it when you consume it, but it was not designed for it. It's kind of like being overweight. We weren't designed to be overweight, but your body fixes it and manages it so you can function. So that's just something I want you to keep in mind. I want you to keep that in mind. So, all right, so we talked about dairy. So let's move on to water. How many of you drink water? Yeah, I would hope everybody's hands go up. You drink water. Now, how many of you drink, wait, you had a water over there. How many of you drink Ozarka? Anybody drink Ozarka drinkers? How many of you drink Dasani? Yeah. I mean, how many of you drink like Perry Light Sparklets? Any of those? Okay. Give me another water that somebody drinks out here that I didn't mention. Nestle water. Okay. What'd you, huh? Kirkland's. What you drinking? Ozarka. Okay. Walmart. Okay. Great value. Okay. So, all right. So let me pull a curtain back, and I know it's Sunday, so I just have to be on my best behavior. But all of you are drinking out the toilet. That's just like drinking toilet water. It's no different. They're just putting it in a bottle. Try me. Just go home, get a little toilet water, and try it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I think I'm joking. I wouldn't make this up here. I promise I wouldn't. I promise I wouldn't make this up. It's the same thing. So Ozarka, guys, comes from the Detroit River. The Detroit River has 95% calcium carbonate in it. That's the ingredient in glue and cement. And I'm going to prove this to you. So Ozarka water, Dasani, Deja Blue, any of the, you know when those waters get really hot? You ever seen them when they get really hot? You know it's like floating particles in it? If water gets hot, nothing should be floating in it if it's clean. Does that make sense? And you've all seen it. If you left something in the car, you know, it get real hot, and you'd be like, and this is what we say, oh, them the minerals in there. That's what we say, right? That's exactly what we say. Oh, them the minerals in there. So I'm going to encourage you all to start drinking a alkaline water. There's so many different brands. The one I have today is called Evermore. What makes a water clean, guys, is it has to have a pH balance of 7 or higher. Now, why is it so important to drink alkaline water? Well, Pastor, thank you for asking, because in 2019 we had COVID, and everybody's immune system was jacked up because your body was too acidic. You know, when COVID broke out, my wife literally, we were sitting on our couch, and my clients were calling me because I do a lot of in-home meal prep for people and stuff like that. She was like, you can't go out anywhere. I was like, I'm going out. She's like, you can't go out. You can drive. Don't you leave this house. Don't you leave. I was like, I'll be fine. I said, because my immune system, it may not be at its peak, but it's real close. And I never caught anything. Well, I never worried about catching nothing. Because there's certain habits that I've incorporated over 18 years to just keep my immune system strong. You know, my wife will tell you, she's never seen me with a cold in 7 years. And I haven't had a cold in about 16. Just a cold. So one of the ways, though, that really helps is just start drinking alkaline water, guys. It makes a huge difference. How many of you get headaches? Anybody here get headaches? 9 out of 10 headaches are dehydration. Dehydration. Alkaline water also helps with short-term memory. How many of you sometimes forget stuff? So watch this. I got to tell y'all this story, really funny. So Pastor, I had a client. She was a school teacher. And she was always having some memory issues. I said, well, you got to start drinking clean water. She said, no, I don't believe in that. I said, okay, all right. So one day she was sitting at her desk at home working, right? And I told her, I said, you've got to start drinking water. It will help your memory, help with everything. No, I don't need that. I just got to not be so stressed. I said, okay. So she was sitting at her desk and doing some work, and her feet were cold. right? So feet were cold, and her office was in a different room of the house, okay? So she gets up, because her feet are cold, to go to her bedroom. And then she forgot when she got to the bedroom, she forgot why she was in the bedroom. And then she sat back down at her desk and was like, my feet still cold. Because that happens, right? That short-term lapse happens. Soon as you start drinking alkaline water, those little things like that will go away. So there are tons of different brands. There's Evermore. How many of you have seen Fiji water? Yeah. Essentia. There's a water called Essence. There's Aqua Hydrate. Crazy water. So there's so many different water. And then many of the stores now carry their own version of alkaline water. And I promise you, it's worth the investment. For the third thing is, number one, minimizes, reduces, eliminates headaches. Number two, improves memory. But number three, constant consumption of alkaline water reduces your chances of Alzheimer's and dementia. That's just drinking clean water every day. And ladies, I know what you're going to say. You say, you want me to pay blank amount money for some clean water. Yes, I do. Because you got a Gucci purse, and you got a Louis Vuitton purse, and you got a Coach bag, and you got some Louboutins. So go buy some clean water. and brothers, I'm not going to let you slide either. So, you got 18 TVs in your house, and it's just you. You just put $2,000 rims on your car, but you complained about drinking clean water. Oops. We do what we want to do. And in our community, we have to start getting our priorities. We're dying too soon, guys. We're really dying too soon, and it's self-inflicted. Forget the gunshots and all of the murder rate. We are doing this to ourselves through the consumption of what we do. So, topic number 2, that was just drink clean water. Okay. It's going to get better. Look at your neighbor and say, it's getting better, 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 it's getting better. Okay, so now, I got to give you something else, the Bible says, it just hit me this morning as my wife and I were driving over here. It says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? So I want you to think about this for a second. Listen, just hear me. Be ye transformed by the renewing. You can't renew something if you didn't already have it. Wow. So inside of you, there is something that you desire to be healthy. Because that's what you are. Wow. You don't have to go looking for that. That's what you are. Your desire is to be healthy in mind, body, spirit, finance. That's just who you are. Be ye transformed by the renew. So I'm just trying to bring you back to what you are. That's good. I'm just trying to bring you back to what you are, not to take you somewhere new. I'm trying to bring you back to what you are. And so if you lean into what you are, some choices you don't make anymore. Because when you decide to give your life to Christ, many times people say, oh, I'm giving up all of this fun stuff, but you're gaining all of this fun stuff. And it's the same thing when you make lifestyle changes. So guess what? When you start giving into drinking clean water, headaches go away. You don't have to pop a Tylenol or a BC or Advil. Does that make sense? And guess what? This is less expensive than Advil, and it's less expensive than a doctor visit. Here's another scripture. This is my second one I'll give y'all. Second. Mark 5:25. Talks about the woman that had the issue of blood, passed her for 12 years. Let's walk through this one. The number 12, if I'm right, discipleship, governing. So that means she has something ruling over her for 12 years. Right? Let's just walk through it. It says, now I'm not a Bible scholar, so y'all clean this up as you need to. She had an issue of blood for 12 years, and she, if I'm correct, visited many physicians, right? But grew worse. And then it later says she spent all she had. Okay, so let's make that relevant to 2023. You got blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. Could be something simple like asthma, allergies, sinus. It's governing you. Now, we all know the more serious things: cancer, lupus, heart disease, AIDS, Crohn's, fibroids. I mean, it's a long list of things, right? But something is governing you. Now, it may not be 12 years, it may be 12 months, it may be 20 years. You go to the doctor. So it says she visited many physicians. Many is at least 3 or 4, right, Pastor? That's about how many copays you have before you run out. Right? You know, you go to one physician and you don't like that diagnosis, so I'm going over here. But then the physician, the second one gives you the same diagnosis the first one gave you. And then you ain't like that either. So now you mad, you're on the phone talking to your girlfriend, talking to your husband. This doctor said I got blood pressure. This doctor said I'm pre-diabetic. This doctor said this. And then you go to the third, and they give you the same diagnosis as the other 2, and now you're out of copay. So now your next visit, much more expensive, because you spent all you had. But at the same time, this is governing you. You run out of copays, you're getting worse every day because you don't want to change. So now it goes back to that question that you typed or you wrote. What's the question? Am I insane? So you've got to be willing to make a change. And the change is fun. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Okay, so we talked about dairy. We talked about water. Now, how many of you have a sweet tooth? Me included. I love sweet. I love sweet stuff. So let's just talk about all the different. Okay, I got 7 minutes left? Is that right, Pastor, with the clock? 7 minutes? Is that about right? Okay. Is this good for you guys? Is this helping? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk about sugar really quick. How many of you drink drinks that are like 0 calorie? Lady, anybody do 0 calorie drinks, light drinks, energy drinks? Wait a minute. You was about to raise your hand. Yeah. So here's the thing. Any product that is 0 calorie, like Zero Coke, you know, you see all of these energy drinks on the market. Any drink that is 0 calorie, and I know this because I also have a beverage company. Any drink that's 0 calorie, guys, every ingredient in it by law is artificial. Say that again. Any drink by law that's 0 calorie or light, every ingredient is artificial by law, so they can't get sued. And the first ingredient, anything 0 calorie, is going to be sorbitol. Okay? Sorbitol is alcohol. Alcohol doubles your sugar level. How many of you chew gum? And where are my gum chewers? How many of you chew Orbit? Because that's like the real popular one. Or Trident, right? Or well, give me another brand of gum that somebody chews. 5. Oh, yeah, 5 is sugarless too. Yeah, give me another one. Extra, extra. All of those are sugarless gums. And the first ingredient is sorbitol. The second ingredient is mannitol. The fourth ingredient is lactitol. So 85% of your sugarless 85% of your sugarless gum is alcohol. But you wonder why you have digestive issues, because see, all that alcohol erodes your digestive tract and your stomach tissue. Oh, I just hit it on some people having some digestive issues in here, because I can see where I popped up. Yeah. And so, once again, I'm not saying you can't chew gum, but don't chew the sugarless gum, because it's more alcohol content than anything else. And so stay away from all the artificial sweeteners. Equal. Anybody use Equal? The pink packet? Look at What's your name? Ariel. Ariel. We're going to pray for you, Ariel, because her eyes are just like, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Sweet and Low, guys, is made from saccharin. Saccharin comes from petroleum gasoline. Same thing you put in your car. And I'll challenge anyone, I don't make this stuff up. You just don't read. Reading is fundamental. Reading is fundamental, guys. It really is important to read. Equal. Anybody use Equal, the blue packet? She pointing at somebody. Look, you Tyler. You look. She pointing and she's like, she do. Equal has aspartame in it. Aspartame, when it reaches 86 degrees, turns into embalming fluid. We all know what our body temperatures are since 2019. Your body is 97.1 or 98 degrees. So every time you consume anything with aspartame, you're killing your internal. You're just killing your digestive tract. Now, let me tell you where aspartame is also found, because you don't realize you drink it all the time. It's anything light, 0 calorie. It's in all your energy drinks, your drinks like Red Bull and energy drink Monster and all of that stuff. Aspartame is in all that stuff. And you wonder why your stomach stays unsettled, or you wonder why you have the bloating, or you wonder why you can't get it flat. I look pretty good, right, y'all? Do I look pretty decent? Yeah, I look pretty decent? Yeah. I'll be 51 next month. I look pretty good for 51, right? Yeah, okay. But it's not that I kill myself in the gym anymore. I just don't have time. It's just the constant consumption of the right foods. Okay, so pause for that. Now let's move to Splendor. How many of you, anybody use Splendor, the yellow packet? Anybody? Yes, yeah. Now y'all don't even want to raise your hand. Nope. I've incriminated myself enough today. I ain't raising my hand one more time. Splendor. Oh, man, this one is challenging because they've got all of the African-American people in the commercial. They got the nice music. It says doctor recommended. And Splendor has arsenic in it, rat poison. Just Wikipedia it. I'm not making this up. But yet and still, we don't research or read. We just, whatever they put on TV, we go buy. So the best sugar that you should have in your house is raw sugar. Anybody grow up on a farm? Anybody grow up on a farm? You know what color is sugar cane? Brown, right. So if sugar cane is brown and sugar comes from sugar cane, what color should sugar be? How to get white? They bleach it and they strip out the fiber, which is the most invaluable ingredient. So now, raw sugar is great for you. Raw honey is great for you. Stop buying all that other cheap honey, the bumblebee and the clover and all that. Just get raw, unfiltered honey if you're going to buy honey. And then another great sweetener is called brown rice syrup. I don't know, did they get that on there? Did I send that to you, brown rice syrup? Bingo, here we go. Oh, I love the PowerPoint stuff, see. Great. Brown rice syrup, this is amazing. This I'm going to steal his PowerPoint. I'm going to use this again. So make sure whoever did this, send this to me. I think Pastor did. I got it. But brown rice syrup is amazing. How many of you like sweet potatoes? Candy yams. This is amazing, guys. You can use this on pancakes, waffles, French toast. This is how I make brownies, cookies, candy yams. It's got 2 ingredients, brown rice and water. But it's like a caramel honey, and it's amazing. And it doesn't raise your sugar level because it's made from brown rice. So once again, I'm not saying you can't have anything sweet. Let's just change the source of your sweet. Does that make sense? So it's not total deprivation, it's different choices. When you became a Christian, you may not go out to the club now. You may go to a church group and dance. You're still dancing, just in a different environment. Right? So now, anybody in here diabetic? Nobody? Okay, my wife. How about that, right? My wife, right. She, we go back and forth. She goes, so I'm going to tell this little story the other day. She goes, yep, see, I'm telling. See, but I only talk about my wife to her face. So those of you that are married, don't talk about your spouse behind their back. Only do it to their face so they can't say, well, I heard, no, I said it. So the other day she goes, well, baby, I tried this, and what do you think? And I didn't know she was trying something new. This goes on in my house, so the struggle is real, y'all. The struggle is real. And I'm like, So she knows when she asks me a question, I don't answer like right away. She already knows what the real answer is. So I just listen. She said, I tried this. What do you think? And I was just like, And I said, and why did you do that? She said, well, I just want to get a little slimmer and this and that. I said, eat the right foods. Stop all that foolishness. That's what I said. Yeah, that's just, we had that type of relationship. We can talk crazy like that. Now, you talk crazy to my wife, I will come at your neck. Okay. But you got to eat, guys. So now, when I asked who was diabetic outside of my wife, nobody raised their hand. But let me go through the symptoms of what diabetes really is, and let's see if this changes. Uh-oh. Look, she done covered them out. She's like, oops. If you ever are sitting in a chair, and sometimes you stand up and you get lightheaded for a quick second. First lady. There we go. See, that's one, okay? We're going to keep counting. That's one. You ever get a inner ear humming sound or a piercing noise in your ear like a ding? Oh, that's 2 and 3. Oh, I'm going to catch everybody in a minute. Just stay with me. Just hold on. I'm coming down your street. Just hold on. You taking a bath and you get up out the tub, but you got to hold on to the rail because you get lightheaded. Oh, that's 4 and 5. And you think that's because the water was so hot in the tub. It has nothing to do with that. That is strictly because your sugar level is so imbalanced that as soon as you get in water, it dropped too low. Oh, now we're at 7 or 8. Oh, I'm coming down the street. Hold on, I'm about to knock on other doors. So if you're back working in a corporate office, you know how you have that coworker, let's just say her name is Tracy. Hope nobody named Tracy in here. Don't want to offend nobody. And you say, good morning, Tracy. She's the receptionist. Good morning. At 8 o'clock. And 10 o'clock, you ask Tracy, oh, girl, just wait a minute. Ooh, I got a lot going on right now, girl. Just hold on a second. And so you leave Tracy alone. So then by 12 o'clock, you say, Tracy, oh, God is so good. God is good. And then you talk to Tracy at 2 o'clock. Oh, it's the devil. He just running me crazy. And you'd be like, how many personalities you got? That's a sugar issue. Because every hour her mood changes. It's woo, woo, woo. If you look at that person's desk, I promise you they got a whole bunch of junk that they nibble on all day. Oh, so we probably about 10 to 12 now. We're getting there. We started at 0, though, okay. Oh, we ain't finished yet. You're sitting or you're just in a space and you get numbness in your fingers sometimes. Ooh, we at 13. Or you get numbness in your toes sometimes. And it's just, and you're not uncomfortable, it just comes. Yeah. Sleeplessness, you can't sleep good. Toss and turn all night. And it's very hard for you to wake up in the morning. A major catastrophe has to happen for you to fully awake. Now, if I was asked that question again, how many of you are diabetic? The hands will change. But what happens is how we get diagnosed with stuff now is so bad. So let's just talk about, I know, God, I got so much y'all pulling on me, but I'm going, can y'all give me 10 more minutes? Is this good? 10 more? Okay. So this is how we get so bad with the diagnosis because bad is average, Pastor. So your doctor tells you to keep your cholesterol at what? 200 or below. Well, let me give you the true numbers. 200 is heart attack. 210 is stroke. But the average American walks around, their cholesterol is 220. 150 is perfect cholesterol. At 150, you can never have a heart attack or stroke medically. It's impossible. 150 to 160 is very, very good. 170 to 180 were our parents' average. 180 to 190 poor, 190 to 200 heart attack. But because everyone eats fast foods, processed foods, your cholesterol number is so high, and everyone eats dairy products, so your cholesterol is through the roof. Let me debunk another myth. There is no such thing as pre-diabetic or pre-hypertension. Let me make it real plain. Let me come down here. Let me make it real plain. Is there a pre-AIDS? No, you got AIDS. You got AIDS. There is no pre to that. Is there a pre-pregnant pastor? You pregnant. Whether you married or single, you pregnant. There is no pre-diabetic. If you had those symptoms I just talked about, you're diabetic. There is no pre. Arthritis is not hereditary. Blood pressure is not hereditary. Diabetes is not hereditary. What's hereditary is your eating habits. Okay, I got more topics, Okay. So we talked about dairy, sugar, salt. Here we go. Salt. Here we go. Salt. Whoo. Okay, salt. How many of you grew up eating Campbell's chicken noodle soup? Ramen noodles. Oh, all the hands went, oh, see, there we go. Everybody hands went up for ramen noodles. Okay, and you know on the back of ramen noodles it has sodium but doesn't have salt. You know it says sodium but doesn't have salt. So let me give you the true salt breakdown. Salt has a 2.5 to 1 ratio to sodium. So if sodium is, let's just say 700, you got to multiply that by 2.5. So that's 1,500. And if it's a can or a serving of ramen noodles, that's 2 servings. So 1,500 times 2 is 3,000. So that's 3,000 milligrams of salt. And a can of soup or ramen noodles is actually 1,000 milligrams of sodium in ramen noodles. Salt retains water, water retains weight. You wonder why you can't lose any weight because your salt intake is too high. So one of the things that I use for salt, if we can hit that, is it's a product called Bragg Liquid Aminos. Now, that's really inexpensive, guys. That jar is $5.49. You can afford that. Yeah. Bragg's Liquid Aminos. It looks like soy sauce. It acts like salt, but it has all 16 amino acids that your body needs every day. Your amino acids turn into your protein. Your protein builds muscle, keeps your everything working right. You can put this on vegetables, rice, fish, chicken. Speaking of, let me go to the next topic. Okay, woo. Let's go to the next topic. How many people like chicken? Everybody like, oh, Lord, he about to take out the chicken. They're going to be like, Pastor, don't invite him back anymore. They're like, don't invite him back ever again. If they see me on the street, they just gonna start walking the other way. Like, oh, no, no, I don't want to talk to him. Okay, here we go, guys. Okay, so chicken is tied into cholesterol. So, you know, anybody in here do personal training? One person? Okay, good. Okay, now, I don't know the brother name. I probably love the brother if I meet him. But I always tell personal trainers, don't give nutritional advice. Stop. Because many times trainers always tell people to eat chicken. Is chicken an animal? Yes, we can all agree, right? Right, okay. Do animals have fat? Okay. So if you're trying to lose weight, should you be eating fat? Common sense ain't so common. So now let's talk about chicken. The cleanest chicken that you should buy, I'm just going to jump to the right stuff, is kosher chicken. Why? Kosher is in the Bible. That's biblical. Clean, clean, clean. What makes kosher chicken clean? The way they feed it, the way they raise it, the way they kill it. They feed it a certain way. They let it eat off of nature. They kill it a certain way. They do not wring the neck. They just use a stainless steel blade and cut the head off. So there's no trauma. Because the way we think chickens are killed is wringing the neck, popping the neck. Whenever you kill anything with trauma, toxicity is released into the whole body. So therefore, kosher chicken is then drained with salt and vinegar, and the rabbi prays over every piece. If you've never had kosher chicken, I will challenge you today. You can go buy it at Trader Joe's. Everybody knows Trader Joe's, right? They have kosher markets, but many times on Sunday the kosher markets are already sold out. But go to Trader Joe's. It's the most delicious chicken you will ever taste in your life. Is it a couple of dollars more? Yeah, but food is cheaper than medicine. So I always tell people, either you're going to lean into food or you're going to buy medication. Now, granted, Biden got the thing down to $35 for diabetic, but that's still more than chicken. So move away from all of these meats that have blood in it. Uh-oh, watch out. Uh-oh, wait a minute. So if you shop at Target, Walmart, Kroger, Aldi's, there's blood in the packaging. Pastor Deuteronomy says, don't eat the blood. New Testament says, and we're now coming to pork. Old Testament says, don't eat the pork. Don't eat the swine. New Testament says, pray over everything. God made everything good. Do you pray over a cigarette before you smoke it? Why not? Why? Oh, y'all found that funny. Because you know it's bad. So why are you praying over pork? There are three things significantly wrong with pork. Number one, the pig is the number one carrier of arthritis in the animal kingdom. See, it's no coincidence that your grandmother had arthritis, your mother has arthritis, and you have it because you probably eat a lot of pork. Number two, the pig has no immune system. And number three, every pig has 18 to 20 parasites and worms that never die. And if you want to try this experiment, I can give you the 2-minute experiment, or you can take the 4-day experiment. If you have any pork in your home, put it on your kitchen table. Just get some soda, pour it over it. Give it 2 minutes. Watch the worms start climbing out of the meat. Now, you want to try the 4-day experiment? Cook it, burn it super crispy, burn it black like my suit. Put it in a Ziploc bag, leave it on your kitchen table for 4 or 5 days, and you'll say, what's crawling inside the Ziploc bag that I closed up? Because it has no immune system, so it never kills it, no matter how hot you cook it. So that's ham, bacon, sausage, hot links, pork chops, ribs. So now if you're going to do ribs, do beef ribs. If you're going to do bacon, do turkey bacon. Let me give you this brand of turkey bacon. It is absolutely amazing. It's called Welshire, Wellshire. Welshire turkey bacon. It's the cleanest turkey bacon in America. Has no nitrates, no sulfates, and it doesn't have any pork casing. So like when you're buying your Oscar Mayer turkey bacon, oh, I just lost that side. He said, uh-oh, what are you going to say about it? When you're buying that Oscar Mayer turkey bacon, or what's the other one, the big commercialized brand? I don't know. It's encased in pork. So you think you're getting turkey bacon, but you're still eating pork. So Now, so we've talked about chicken. We got that. Now, let's talk about fish really quick. I'm trying to get to everything, y'all. I'm trying to get there. Has this been good? This has been pretty good? Now, she ready to come on. So now, what's the question I asked you to ask yourself? Okay, so we almost getting ready to answer it. Okay. So now, let's talk about fish. She said, oh, my God, did he have, oh, my God. She said that so violently. She's like, oh, my God. I felt all of that. So, many times when you want to eat healthy, you say, well, I'm just going to do a seafood diet. All the food I see, I eat. And that usually don't work out too well for you. But then you say, well, you know what? I'm going to gravitate to, more of the tilapia, the catfish. All of those are scavengers. So let me just tell you all the bad fish because I'm running out of time. Let me just give them to you. Tilapia, catfish, shrimp, calamari, lobster, crab. A crab is a giant roach. Oh, y'all didn't know that? Scallops, sushi, all of those are bottom feeders, so they're all bad. They're high in cholesterol. They taste great, but they're all high in cholesterol. Anybody in here have high cholesterol, seriously? Got cholesterol, blood pressure issue? You don't think you do, but I'm not going to do that same thing I did with diabetes because that would take the whole room. So, the clean fish, wild salmon. You have multiple types of wild salmon. So don't think you just have one. You have coho, king, Alaskan. Mahi-mahi is a clean fish. Chilean sea bass is a clean fish. Sable fish is a clean fish. S-A-B-L-E, sable fish. Yes, write these down. The faintest ink is better than the most retentive memory. Write this stuff down because, see, you're going to go trying to tell your friend what you heard today, and you're going to be like, girl, you can buy some smoked fish. They're like, what's you gonna mess it all up. They was like, whatever, I ain't never heard of that. Haddock is a clean fish. H-A-D-D-O-C-K. Orange roughy, red snapper, wild trout, black drum. These are all clean fish. Are you getting the vibe, though? You don't see these at your normal grocery store, do you? No. So you got to change where you shop. And just being completely blunt and honest, most of us live in communities where there are not healthier choices of grocery stores. That's by design, but that's another topic another day. But you just got to start eating the clean fish. It's no more expensive than you doing Chick-fil-A twice a day. Yeah, see, once you add that cost of Chick-fil-A, I'll tell you a story. We were, about a month ago, we had just been running around all day, and we ate out somewhere, and then we went to Wendy's because that's close to our house, right? And I know my son, who's 6'8", he likes Wendy's, and his grandma, they'll eat some Wendy's, and we'll bite on a little one. Man, I spent like $57 in the drive-thru at Wendy's. I said, what the hell? At Wendy's? $57? I was like, this is crazy. I said, oh, I ain't doing this no more. You ain't ever got to worry about me spending that much money at Wendy's ever again. But you just got to start making better choices, guys. You just got to start making better choices. Okay, so we talked about sugar, dairy, water, fish, chicken, right? Pork. So now let's talk about what we need to eat. Now, see, I told you. Look at your friend and say, it's getting better now. It's getting better. Real simple, guys. You just got to lean into more vegetables. You've got to lean into more vegetables. And you have to lean into more leafy vegetables. We're all familiar with cabbage and collard greens, but you got to learn how to like kale, bok choy, chard, mustard greens, turnip green, leeks. When they were coming out of Egypt, they were eating onion, garlic, and leeks. That's in the book. You just got to learn how to make it taste good. Footnote, write this down. I'm going to move away from everything white. Some of y'all got that. Now let me explain that. I'm gonna tell you right now, don't be a cracker, because crackers break. You want to be flexible. Okay? You want to be flexible. You want to be, I know pastor like, oh, Lord, it's going all over the world. The reason why you want flexibility, and that will come from eating lots of leafy greens, because lots of leafy greens have magnesium. And magnesium is anti-inflammatory. And as you get older, we want our bodies to remain flexible. You want to be able to bend and your knees don't crack. You know what I'm talking about? You move and something cracks in your body. That's because you're becoming too brittle. So you need to have lots and lots of magnesium. I'll just give you this footnote. When you get enough magnesium in your body consistently, you can never have a heart attack or stroke. It's medically impossible. But you're going to get magnesium from a lot of your dark leafy greens and things of that nature. So you just got to eat more vegetables. You're going to stay away from everything white. You're going to move away from everything white. White flour, white sugar, white bread, white rice, white potatoes. Oh, I just lost you again. Come back. Because everything white turns to sugar. White bread turns to sugar quicker than a Snickers bar in your body. Okay, I'm going to prove it to you. How many of you like Papados? Yeah. When you go to Papados, they bring you the bread with the butter, and especially if it's hot. You know how you can eat that bread and never get full? Because it's turning straight to sugar that quick. Y'all know what I'm talking about, too. You get that bread, you just eat it, and you never get full eating that bread. Because it turns straight to sugar. So white bread, white flour, white rice, white potatoes. You just want to move away from everything white, because check this out. Most foods start brown. Question, what color is rice? Somebody said white. Okay, somebody said brown, right? Okay, but what's the true color of rice? Brown. All of you are wrong. The true color of rice is black. I am dead serious. The true color of rice is black. But you don't find that in many stores. So once again, you got to change where you shop.
Is that the one that's called forbidden?
It's called forbidden rice. And it's the most delicious rice. Yeah, that's the name of it. It's called forbidden rice. And it's from Africa. They doing us wrong. Okay, all right, tying this all up. Okay, all right, y'all. I just want to make sure I give you as much as I can. I can't give it all to you today because there's just so much. But if this has been helpful to you, give me a clap. All right. So, in just recapping, we talked about dairy, water, sugar, salt, cholesterol, pork, fish, chicken. When it comes to fruits, eat fruits with skin. Say that again. Eat fruits with skin. Especially if you know, now that you know you're diabetic, you want to move away from pineapples and bananas if you know you're trying to lose weight or you have a sugar issue. Because bananas have 3 times more sugar than potassium. Pineapples taste great, but they give you no fiber. You got to eat fruits with skin, preferably organic, because you got to eat the skin. Because the fiber is what keeps your pancreas from producing too much insulin. Did everybody get that? And then the other thing, and I want to open it up for some questions, but the other sugar you just got to get, who has kids in here? Okay. Raise your hands up high. Seriously, don't be afraid. I got you. I ain't going to throw nothing at you. Okay. If you have kids, you've got to get high fructose corn syrup out of your home. For 3 reasons. Number 1, it prevents weight loss by 35%. Number 2, it triggers a chemical imbalance in the brain. And you never feel full. That's why you're always snacking. And that's why you always have a desire for something sweet or salty all day. Even after you eat. You go to dinner, you eat, and 10 minutes later, you're like, I got a craving for something sweet or salty. That's high fructose corn syrup. And number 3, high fructose corn syrup is the root cause of pancreatic cancer. So you got to get it out your house. The problem is it's in 9 out of every 10 food items in your home. It's in ketchup, salad dressing, mustard, juice, potato chips, everything. So the way to just avoid it in your home is you have to start shopping organically. Because in organic foods, by law, they cannot put high fructose corn syrup. Okay. I wanted to give you that. Okay, I want to open it up for questions. Who has questions for a few minutes? We got a few minutes for questions. Yes.
So earlier you mentioned the brown rice syrup.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the mic is right. Oh, there you go.
Thank you. So earlier you mentioned the brown rice syrup instead of our regular consummation of white sugar or other types of sugar. Mm-hmm. Would you say that it's good to include in coffee as well?
You can absolutely put that in your coffee. Okay. Yep, absolutely. You can put that in your coffee. You can use rice milk in your coffee with brown rice syrup or raw sugar, and it makes the coffee a little healthier. Now, is there a good version of coffee? No. I'm just going to tell you right now, because I know some of you think, well, what if I do this? That's like you asking me, is there a good version of crack? No. They got it in the back. Yeah, there is no good version of that. So, there's no good version. Another question. Any more questions? Yes.
So what about agave?
Great question.
Yes.
So I used to teach agave a lot when I first started, but as I kept researching it, and actually it played out on me because I'm a sweet tooth, and I was using agave on everything, and I went to my dentist, and she said, what are you doing different? I said, why? She said, because your gums and teeth were showing something. And that was one reason why I stopped using agave, but then it's just not made as clean as they say it is, and from where they're importing it from now, it's just not as good as it used to be. So the brown rice syrup, once you try it, you'll love it. You'll absolutely love it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Come on now.
I have 3, if that's all right.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I got some quick. One question is about sodas, specifically like Coke. Like, what impact do sodas or even like sports drinks, so like Gatorade, Body Armor, what does that stuff do?
Okay, so that's the first one. I saw 3. That's one question?
Yes.
Okay, so Coke, all sodas are made from sorbitol, aspartame, mannitol, lactitol, colorings that are not good. Now, I know this is going worldwide, so I might get sued, but that's okay. Gatorade is horrible. It is the worst now. It is the worst. Body Armor is much better because, right, because they still use clean, real products in Body Armor. But Gatorade is horrible. All those other sports drinks, I mean, they're just terrible. So the best one out of those would be Body Armor. Now, if you happen to go to your local Whole Foods store, they have some sports drinks that are made from fruit. And they're just the same cost or cheaper. But you don't know the brand because you've never been there. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Questions? Any more questions? Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, that was one question.
Okay.
Another question. So, in this, with areas like, that just like kind of hold on to fat. So like I have people in my family like that have like cankles or like even like with their arms, like certain areas that like just hold on to, even like neck fat, like, and it's not necessarily like a way to work that out. What do you suggest they eat?
Well, 2 things. You can work that out if they want to include some daily regimen of exercise. You can. I do, for 20-some years, I've done personal training as well. You can work that out. But one of the biggest things you have to incorporate is foods that are anti-inflammatory. Once again, that goes back to your leafy greens, your brown rice, your different beans, things of that nature that allow your skin to have elasticity instead of fat. Does that make sense? Because when your skin becomes firmer, the fat doesn't show up as quick. That make sense? Okay. And the consumption of fat makes all of that more. Yeah. What's the next one?
And then the last one. So for me, you can.
You're lean, yeah. You like me. You're gonna be lean forever unless you just
That was going to be my question. Like, am I just going to be lean, especially if I start eating right?
Well, you know what? You can be lean and gain muscle if that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And muscle weighs more than fat. You just have to put it on the proper way. So, you know, I'll always be lean just because that's my body design. But muscle weighs more than fat. So if you want to add muscle, you can. But there's nothing wrong with being lean. See, in America, we look at you or look at me and we go, oh, you need to gain weight. No, the rest of y'all need to lose weight.
So I got a quick question.
Okay.
Man of God, I was wondering what stores,
This is a question to everybody. What store I need to shop in?
what stores can we shop in? Because the stores that we have available are very limited to these items that you.
The best place, guys, and this is without telling you my services, I don't do that from here. If you're interested, see me afterwards. But the best stores I'm going to encourage you will be Whole Foods, Sprouts is great, Trader Joe's, Central Market, Natural Grocer. You have to go to places where they have these things. So, you know, but I would always say Whole Foods first, yes.
So, I guess I'll say, like, do you encourage, I know you talked about, like, the types of food and things of that nature, but I know something that I've been studying personally is, like, intermittent fasting. Is that something that you're encouraged? Because I've been practicing. I feel like it's been going pretty well for me, but, like, let's say for someone who's trying to lose weight, like.
There's a good and a bad to that,
Yeah.
and let me give you both ends. Intermittent fasting is great for cleansing. And intermittent fasting has gotten very popular and trendy for weight loss. But the reason why we fast is to build our relationship with God. It was never for weight loss, right? So now, secondly, the other part of that is the intermittent fasting will cleanse and detox you and make you feel better. But at the same time, if you intermittent fast too long without some consumption, when your body goes into starvation, it creates fat. And so people that do intermittent fasting, they lose a lot of weight, but as soon as they eat one piece of food, whoop, it all comes back.
Yeah.
Because your body is like a yo-yo. So you can do the intermittent fasting. It's fantastic. I'm all for it. But at the same time, you still got to consume something. And I generally say, even when you're doing intermittent fasting, eat some fruit.
Yeah.
Drink some water, so then your body has something to store. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
I know earlier you spoke about fish, you spoke about chicken, but you didn't really touch on beef. Do you have like suggestions on like maybe different options about beef or something like that?
Yeah, I do. And it's always geared to every individual specifically. Like, for instance, you're lean. So now let me clarify. Just because you're skinny don't mean you don't have issues. But at the same time, if you are someone that likes beef and want to consume beef, just get a cleaner version of beef. Go to the Whole Food store and buy some beef if you gotta have some beef or some steak or even turkey. You know, believe it or not, guys, there are levels to food. Just like there are levels to cars. There's level to ministry. So I'll give you an example. Who drives a Honda? Anybody drive a Honda? Okay, so the upscale of Honda is Acura, right? The upscale of Toyota is Lexus. Both of the Honda and the Toyota, you can get it with leather, you can get it with sunroof, you can get it with navigation. But when you go up to the Lexus or the Acura, the quality is better. And it's the same with food. You can go buy organic at Aldi's if you want to, or Walmart if you want to, but they're just reaching the minimum standard to get there. Why not go to where the standard is the standard? Does that make sense? So with the beef, if you want beef, just make sure you're getting a good quality. And that's fine. And that's all related to everyone individually, because if you have blood pressure or trying to lose weight or cholesterol, then your behind don't need to be eating no beef anyway. Did I answer that for you?
That is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have another
No,
question.
come on with it. As long as y'all tell me when to stop. I mean, I'm just gonna take questions. So.
With you said fruit that has skin. So like, would grapes be fruit with skin? And then
Now I
thought
can be a
banana
little more
peel.
specific. Apples, pears, peaches, plums, grapes, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, pluots, nectarines. So all of those have skin. And once again, your spectrum is bigger. So if you want some pineapples or if you want mango or melons, then knock yourself out because you don't have a weight issue. Now let me tell you about melons. If you're eating melons, you should eat them separately, never together. Because when you eat melons together, they cancel out and it becomes straight sugar.
So do you mean cantaloupe and honey?
So let's say if you go to a little event and they have cantaloupe, honeydew, and watermelon all in a bowl at the same time, when you eat those all at the same time, they all cancel out. Nutrition just turns to sugar. So you should eat it separately. You should either eat watermelon, the cantaloupe, honeydew. Yeah. You shouldn't eat it all at one time.
When it comes to eating healthy with age, when is it too late? Like, for example, if you start changing at 30 or 40 or 50,
It's never too late.
will it eliminate or just reduce?
You can eliminate. Let me tell you something. When my mom had her heart attack, she was 65. My mom's 84 now, lives on her own, drives herself, and is healthy. One of the healthiest 84-year-olds you ever see. So it's never too late. My mother-in-law is 81, has been living with us, and this is the healthy she's eaten in her life, and her transformation has been amazing at 81 years old. So it's never too late because the body self-corrects itself because we are renewing. You're just going back to what you were. And when you go back to what you were, things self-correct quicker. So I want to give everybody a couple of things about me. If you want to follow me, you can go to my Instagram. It's pritter2355. P Ritter, P-R-I-T-T-E-R, 2355. I'm on LinkedIn. It's Paul Ritter. You can follow me on Facebook. You can go to my website and find some nice little things, stories you can read. Paul Ritter Teaches. That's my website, Paul Ritter Teaches. Is that a good name for my website? That's pretty decent. They came up with it because I couldn't figure that out for nothing. They came up with it. PaulRitterTeaches.com. Once again, I want to thank Pastor, First Lady for having me in. It has been my pleasure sharing. If you got more questions, I'll be around the back. If you got more questions or curious about anything else, and once again, thank you guys so very much.